Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Misa and today I am doing my first haul video. Over here in Malaysia, we currently have the Big Bad Wolf sale going on, and normally it's held in these huge exhibition halls at convention centers and things, but this year it's online. So in previous years, I've always gone to just look for cookbooks because they usually have a great selection of vegetarian cookbooks, but I've actually never bought any fiction or reading material at these sales. Usually when I go over to these sales, I get tired really quickly, so I normally target just one genre. So it's always been the cookbooks, but this year it's online. So I had plenty of time to take my time to browse through every category. So I chose 10 books to haul from this sale. So the books are sitting in front of me. I've actually unpackaged it, but it hasn't come out of its bubble wrap yet. So I'm going to look at the books one by one and share them with you today. Just show you for a second. Okay, they look like that. I ordered 10 books and I specifically chose 10 new to me authors. So I'm really excited. Let's get started. Okay, here's the first book, and unfortunately they are all wrapped in plastic, so it's not very good for the environment, and also I think it's going to be quite glary on the screen, so I'm very sorry about that. Books tend to come wrapped in plastic in Malaysia, and I've heard that that's because of frequent rain here, so in order to protect them, that's how they do it, but I'm definitely conscious of the fact that this plastic is not great. Okay, so the first book is called The Anatomy of Dreams, and this is by Chloe Benjamin, who is the author of Immortalis. So this book is the debut novel that came out in 2014. It has a rating of 3.4 stars on Goodreads. This is supposed to be a sci-fi thriller / love story kind of thing, so I'll just read you the blurb. Sylvie and Gabe meet and fall in love at boarding school in Northern California. Their headmaster is the enigmatic and mysterious Dr. Keller, a man obsessed with the idea that waking stress and trauma can be cured in dreams. Slowly, he uses his magnetic pull to draw them into his research. This book is supposed to be about psychology and dreams, which are areas that I'm really interested in, so I'm quite excited to start this book, even though I've seen that it has mixed reviews on Goodreads, but I think that doesn't matter because I often don't agree with the ratings anyway. The next book I bought is called Reputations by Juan Gabriel Vásquez, and this is translated by McLaughlin, and it was first published in 2013. So this is a Colombian author who is also known for writing The Sound of Things Falling. In this book, the main character is called Javier Mayarino, who is a celebrated political cartoonist, and he's a very influential person. After a successful career spanning 4 decades, he is now 65 years old when he is visited by a young woman who brings light to an incident that happened 20 years ago. And that throws his illustrious career into question, where he has to face his own conscience behind this professional decision that he made. I actually started watching a talk that the author gave about this book, but I didn't watch the entire thing yet because I didn't want to know too much about the book before going into it. The author talks about how one of the important themes in this book is memory and how people remember certain events in the past and how accurately we remember them. I think this book sounds so interesting, and I was also enjoying the talk that the author was giving, so I can't wait to get back to that video as well. Incidentally, this book has a rating of 3.7 stars on Goodreads. The next book I picked up is The Stepford Wives by Ira Levin, first published in 1972. Of course, it's a dystopian novel. I actually have seen the movie, so this is not exactly new to me, but I saw this book being described on Lianne from Literary Diversions channel, and I was immediately interested because she was just describing how the book is not quite the same as the movie. So I've been seeing this book in book sales a lot recently, but luckily I waited because in this sale I got it for 10 ringgit, and that's about $2.50 US, so I was very lucky to get this for such a great price. The next book I picked up is called A Cruel Bird Came to the Nest and Looked In by Magnus Mills. Magnus Mills is an English writer known for such books as The Restraint of Beasts and All Quiet on the Orient Express. This novel came out in 2011, and this is supposed to be this really strange, nonsensical story set in a place called the Great Fallow Fields, and things are falling apart over there and their emperor is missing. So it's supposed to be really funny, so I'm looking forward to this very much. The next book I bought is a collection of short stories called The Manual for Cleaning Women by Lucia, and this is edited by Stephen Emerson. So this collection came out in 2015, which is 11 years after the author's death, and it contains 41 selections of her short stories. When it was published, this collection hit the New York Times bestseller list, and that's giving this author a posthumous recognition. I think many of these stories are autobiographical in nature, and this has a rating of 4.2 stars on Goodreads, so that's great. And also, I've mentioned before in in previous videos that short stories are one of my favorite genres, so I'm really looking forward to reading this one. The next book is also a collection of short stories, and this one is called Dinosaurs on Other Planets by Danielle McLaughlin, and she is an Irish writer. This came out in 2014 and it contains 11 short stories. This book has a rating of 3.88 stars on Goodreads, so that's pretty good. On average, the books that I've chosen have like 3 to 4 stars, and that's fine for me. I did check the reviews before I pressed purchase on these books, so I know what I'm getting into kind of thing, but I'm not one to look up the synopsis too deeply because I don't like to know too much about books before I start them. The next book is really heavy and it is a hardcover with deckled edges. Deckled edges is not my favorite thing, but anyway, it looks nice, but it's hard to turn these pages. This one is called The Toss of a Lemon by Padma Viswanathan, who is an Indian-Canadian author. This is a historical fiction that came out in 2008 and it has a rating of 3.78 on Goodreads. This is supposed to be a multi-generational family story, so it is set in 1896 southern India. The story starts off with the main character as a child. Her name is Sivakami, and her parents arrange for her to be married to the village astrologer. Through his horoscopes that he shares with Sivakami's parents before they get married, he predicts that he's going to die in the 10th year of their marriage, and that ends up happening. So Sivakami ends up being widowed at the age of 18 with 2 small children. She is Brahmin, and there are strict rules regarding what a Brahmin widow can do, like she's not allowed to walk out during the day because she's not allowed to be seen outdoors. The backdrop of this story is India in its stages of modernization at the turn of the 20th century, while the society still follows a strict caste system. The author describes this book as being loosely based on her grandmother's story. So I'm really interested in Indian culture and history, so I'm so excited to read this, and I hope I can understand what is happening because I do find it a little bit complex as someone who doesn't come from that region. The next book I chose is called Russka by Edward Rutherfurd, and this came out in 1991. It's quite a big book. It's a historical fiction, but it's sort of like in a textbook sort of way, I think. So I love books like this. I normally like to read non-fiction, but I thought I'll give this one a try. And this is supposed to cover 1800 years of Russian history. I have a particular interest in Russian culture because I'm a musician, and not only does a lot of great music come from Russia, also I was doing a research project earlier when I was a student on Russian piano music, so it's remained one of those areas of great interest to me. So I don't know when I can get to this one because, as I showed you, it's quite huge, but it has a rating of 4.02 stars on Goodreads, and I'm looking forward to reading this because there are others by Rutherfurd that I want to get to as well. So if I love it, then I can collect all of his books. Okay, I've got 2 more books to show you, and the next one is called Lily and the Octopus, and this is by Stephen Rowley. First of all, this book has deckled edges as well. It has a rating of 3.71 stars on Goodreads, and when I went to look it up, actually I found out that it was already on my TBR for some time. So I'd forgotten that I added this to my TBR, but it's so cute, isn't it? This is a novel that came out in 2016, and it is set in LA about a man and his pet dachshund, but it's supposed to be a really sad story because I think the dog gets sick. I absolutely love animal stories, so I know I'm going to love this one even if it's really sad. Okay, we're up to the last book of my book haul today, and it's called Aquarium by David Vann. This novel came out in 2015 and has a rating of 3.74 stars on Goodreads. It is set in Seattle, and the main character is called Caitlin, who lives with her mum, but every day after school she has to go to the aquarium to wait for her mum to pick her up after work. One day she befriends an old man at the aquarium and she uncovers a dark family secret. I really love the aquarium because it's so peaceful, and every time I visit a new city and they have an aquarium, I tend to make it a priority to go. I also love anything to do with water or the ocean because I grew up on the Gold Coast in Australia, so I think that's a given that I love water. I really miss being near the ocean actually because I'm just so used to having it nearby, but where I am now is Kuala Lumpur, or KL as we like to call it in Malaysia. I don't think we have a beach nearby, right? In the whole time that I've been living here, I don't think I've ever been to the beach near here. I think it takes at least a couple of hours to get to the nearest beach. But anyway, I digress. So I'm really looking forward to reading this one and getting this whole ocean vibe so I can live vicariously through the fish or something. Okay, that's it for my first book haul. I do have other books I can show you, but I just wanted to try out filming a book haul first because my channel is still new. So I'm just trying to find out which kind of videos are the most comfortable for me to film. Like wrap-ups are really challenging for me, but I will keep trying. So hopefully I will improve over time. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I really hope you enjoyed this one. Please let me know down below if you have heard of or read any of the books I talked about, or if you have any suggestions on which ones I should prioritize. Please hit the like button to support my channel and consider subscribing if you'd like to see more videos from me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!